our system-wide Parks and Recreation Master Plan, as well as some important updates to the Buncombe County Parks system. So Buncombe County is developing a system-wide Parks and Recreation Master Plan to guide long-term vision for parks, recreation, greenways, trails, and open space. This plan will evaluate how well our system meets community needs, identify priorities for improvement, and ensure alignment with other guiding county documents. The efforts combine 3 plans: the Parks and Recreation System-Wide Master Plan, which will build upon and replace the county's prior 2008 Master Plan with a focus on parks, athletic and aquatic fields, river parks, recreation programming, along with greenways, trails, and open space recommendations. The Greenways and Trails Master Plan, which will build upon and replace the county's prior 2012 Greenways and Trails Plan, will focus on planning and implementing regional greenways and trail systems that connect residents and visitors to the unique character and destinations of Buncombe County. The Open Space Plan, which is the first of its kind here in Buncombe County, will focus on undeveloped land, conserved to protect natural and cultural resources, wildlife, and increase the quality of life, and produce public lands that'll have access for folks for passive recreation opportunities. We started this master planning process back in early 2024 to create transparency and gather feedback from the community about gaps in service and community priorities for recreation and open space needs. The master planning process was placed on pause in the aftermath of the hurricane that devastated our community nearly 1 year ago. Response and recovery efforts rightly became the county's immediate focus. In the wake of the storm, individuals, families, and entire neighborhoods experienced tremendous loss, from homes and gathering spaces to the parks and greenways that connect us all. Some of us even lost friends and family. We recognize the weight of those losses and the importance of restoring not just facilities, but the sense of physical, emotional, and social health and well-being that our park spaces and recreational programs provide to this community. As we relaunch this process and continue with our recovery efforts, we recognize that priorities have shifted and continue to evolve. Resiliency has been elevated as a core priority. Restarting this work fulfills Buncombe County's commitment to build back stronger and ensure that future parks, trails, and open spaces are designed to withstand challenges while continuing to serve the community in blue skies and gray. Specific separated master plans are crucial for funding, as they provide a clear strategic and credible blueprint that demonstrates a long-term vision, financial viability, and alignment with community needs, making the project more attractive to investors. Financially viable donors and lenders will come to our aid. A comprehensive master plan helps organize complex projects, identify cost savings opportunities, assess risks, and ensures that funding is used efficiently to achieve our goals in a sustainable future. Together, these 3 plans will serve as the foundation for recommendations that shape the future of outdoor spaces across Buncombe County by providing that long-term vision and strategic framework for managing development and ensuring it aligns with the community's goals and needs by guiding land use, infrastructure, community facilities, and promoting orderly and sustainable growth, enhancing the quality life of our residents. Master plans also facilitate better decision-making, encourages stakeholder involvement, helps manage risks, and offer a more economical and efficient approach to development by anticipating needs and coordinating these efforts. Public input is at the core of this process, and our residents are encouraged to participate in engagement opportunities, surveys, meetings, focus groups, and community events so that the plan reflects the needs of the residents, including underserved and underrepresented groups. We received wonderful input from our community last year, but in the wake of the storm, we know that priorities may have changed. We're currently running a quick 4-question survey that'll help us reevaluate and reassess Buncombe County's needs and desires for our park system in a post-Helene world. That survey can be taken at engage.buncombecounty.org/Parks Master Plan Final Survey. It closes this Friday, September 26th, so please go online and take this survey today. The comprehensive system-wide Parks and Recreation Master Plan is essential for guiding the development and management of our parks and recreation facilities and programs. It ensures that we meet those diverse needs of our community and promote sustainable practices and resiliency to enhance the overall quality of life for our residents. It'll integrate goals from the Comprehensive Plan 2043, which includes conservation of critical habitats and ecological lands, preservation of cultural and historic landscapes, expansion of passive recreation, and protected farmlands. The master planning process typically spans 12 to 16 months, but Tropical Storm Helene extended that timeline, and so to allow updated park and additional community input as our needs and priorities have changed, we are implementing a phase 3 and 4 launch. This is happening now, and this is where our long-range vision and strategic plans meet the road. The final draft plan will be posted online for review and public comment in late winter before adoption by the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners. For updates and to subscribe for notifications about engagement opportunities, and to take the current survey again, visit engage.buncombecounty.org/Parks Master Plan. I'd also like to take this opportunity to update you all on the status of our parks as we near the 1-year mark of Hurricane Helene. Buncombe County Parks and Recreation has been actively working to reopen facilities while addressing the significant erosion and infrastructure impacts caused by the hurricane. Our priority continues to be the restoration and access of parks as quickly and safely as possible, while also planning for the redesign of the parks most affected by the storms. I'm excited to announce that 6 out of our 7 river parks are open to the public. Alexander River Park is currently closed as it sustained a great deal of land loss. We're advertising for the engineering services to help redesign and bring this amenity back online. Hominy River Park is open to the public while the peninsula remains closed as we're in contract negotiations with a consulting firm for the engineering and redesign of this portion of the park for accessible entry into the French Broad River. The Charles D. Owen Park remains closed. Owen was devastated by the storm as the Swannanoa River destroyed the ponds and walking path and flooded the park completely. From the beginning, this park has been a priority of the county for restoration and was the first project for the Parks and Recreation Department advertised through the RFQ process, or request for qualifications, so that we could start the rebuild of this important amenity. Contract negotiations for the engineering of this park are ongoing, and a contract is anticipated to go before the Board of Commissioners by October, with an anticipated timeline of 10 months for the phase 1 of this 2-phase project. Staff continues to collaborate with the Planning Department on the Swannanoa Small Area Business Plan. Friends and neighbors of Swannanoa Group and the Swannanoa Grassroots Alliance groups are involved to ensure community involvement in the redesign of development of this park. Carpin Field also remains closed due to the flooding of Reams Creek, which washed out a portion of the walking path into a small portion of the field. Engineering services are being explored to ensure the creek has not undercut the soccer field. This potentially causes risks of sinkholes in the future, so further exploration is needed for the safety of the public before we open this amenity. We anticipate an additional 3 to 4 months of closure. Cane Creek is partially opened as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers use the soccer fields as a large debris site for this area. They are currently regrading, treating the soil, and resodding this field, which will take approximately 2 to 3 months. All other parks are open for public use. Buncombe County Sports Park is currently open, but will partially close later this fall, as we're in the process of bidding out the installation of turf fields for fields 3, 4, 5, and 9. That's 4 additional turf fields in this community, which needs it so badly. Bids are due the end of September or the beginning of October, with a projected construction start date of November. Construction is expected to take around 8 to 10 months. Fields 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8 will remain open during construction. Lastly, I'd like to share some additional good news, as Buncombe County's Parks and Recreation received a $4.4 million grant award through the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Program, also known as ORLEP. This grant award is to go towards the purchase of a 342 plus acre property that we lovingly call Beaverview Mountain. In collaboration with Southern Appalachian Highlands Conservancy and full support from the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners, we look to finalize the purchase of this property sometime this winter. The Beaverview Mountain acquisition is a nature-based project where conservation intersects with passive recreation and is open access to outdoor recreation for a large urban community. This 342 acre tract of land is one of the largest undeveloped properties in the urban landscape of the city of Asheville. There are 16 headwater streams flowing through this property. It contains a network of existing trails leading to clearings that provide a stunning 180-degree view of the city and surrounding mountain ranges such as Mount Pisgah. This new park will provide a passive outdoor recreation opportunity, including hiking, nature viewing, and picnicking. The property's urban location will serve various populations that have limited or no access to hiking and long-range panoramic views. Through our collaboration with the Southern Appalachian Highlands Conservancy, we look to acquire the property to save it from development, protect wildlife habitat and water quality, and create Buncombe County's second largest park, second only to the new Pisgah View State Park that will soon be coming. In a location that is absent of public recreation opportunities of this scale, we are proud to bring this amenity online. The future of this property is to create a new passive recreation public park. Around 315 acres of the property will be placed in a conservation easement. There will be an assessment of the existing network trails on site, and modifications may occur as needed to minimize the potential for erosion, sedimentation, and increased resiliency. The existing open areas will be maintained to remove invasive species and maintain the scenic views. Anticipated future park amenities will include a parking area, restroom facilities, structure for park management, interpretive signs, and wildlife and scenic viewing platforms. There will be more information to come soon. Thank you for your time and your support of the Buncombe County Parks and Recreation Department, where we seek to promote health and wellness and increase stewardship of the natural world through opportunities for recreation and socialization in the outdoors. I'll be here. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
Can you'll answer questions right there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you walk us through just overall, when Helene hit, seeing these parks and after so much devastation and so forth, and the estimated cost in general for all the parks and the damage, but like just seeing it in general when you saw the damage, what stood out the most and so forth.
Yeah, I think what was so tough was the Parks and Recreation Department immediately sprang into action and were a part of the recovery efforts. And we were largely reintroduced to new positions where we were helping with distribution sites and pods and comfort care stations. We were giving out water and food, and that really became our focus. Once we were able to get back into the park systems, it was devastating to see the amount of trees. The park that we're in right now on this side, there were over 85 trees that came down. There was a microburst that happened on the backside where over 120 trees came down and devastated the disc golf course, which is now reopened. And so we did what we always do. We banded together and we started taking one step at a time and prioritizing projects and safety and removing the dangers and getting people back into parks.
You know, the Charles D. Owen Park, kind of talk to me about the damage there.
So Charles D. Owen Park had 3 fields that were there. They were baseball fields, as well as 2 ponds and a walking track. It was known as a huge birding area. The Swannanoa River moved approximately 40 feet into the park and took out the ponds, as well as flooding the rest of the area. And it was devastated and needs a complete redesign. We would go there to ensure that people were not going into the park because we wanted to maintain safety. And I can't count how many times I came across people that were standing there individually or in their cars absolutely weeping at the loss of this community asset and park, which is the reason that we've prioritized it for opening and engineering.
And when we're looking at the overall cost or estimated cost of all the damage of all the parks in the county, what would you say if you had a...
I couldn't even begin to say what that cost estimation is. I anticipated from the beginning that Owen Park will cost anywhere from $14 to $16 million alone for that one park. And so to look at the parks in total is going to be millions upon millions of dollars.
When do you think everything will be, from the fields to the parks, will be open? And what would that mean to you and the community?
Yeah, I think we're a few years out, in honesty, for everything to be open. But I think we're working really hard to get parks open one by one as they become safe. We're trying to get the small wins while keeping the larger parks that are more devastated, like Owen, at the forefront and pushing that project forward as quickly as we can. And I really can't even express how forward I am looking to the ribbon cutting of the new Owen Park in particular, as well as some of the other parks. Carpin Field, it's a small win that we can get open in the next 3 or 4 months that I think that community is really in need of. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
I know they're assets to the community. What does it mean to have these parks open? What does it mean to have these beautiful green spaces and so forth for folks to enjoy?
I think it means connection. I think it means physical, social, and emotional health. I think for this community, it means a coming back together and a re-energizing of the strength and resiliency of this community.
Could you talk a little bit about what your operating budget is every year? As far as doing this master plan and all these plans, these, I would assume, take millions of dollars for big changes, plus compounding with Helene damage. What kind of pot do you have just on an annual basis? And obviously the county is very tight right now with the adjustments in property taxes that are going to be happening because of the loss of structures that the county can tap into.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I think it's one of the reasons that we're doing the master planning process is to work through a financial stable model that allow us to build these important assets. And so we go through the CIP process in which we are building new parks, and so the CIP is our capital improvement program. So the county has a CIP program, and we put in for large projects that are important, and so those projects are evaluated, and then they are planned out so that we know what's coming and that we are addressing the needs of the community first and foremost. In terms of my operating budget, we have a small but mighty budget. And what I would say is it's a little under $1 million a year, but one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being able to go for some of these larger grants, like the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Grant, which is helping to support the rebuild of many of these parks. We partner with the Tourism Development Authority, where park projects are being developed all the time, and we're working in partnership to bring those amenities. And so I would say that the county very much invests in our parks and puts it at the forefront and works really hard in order to not only bring forward new amenities, but help maintain the amenities that we have.
Is there anything that jumps out to you with the replacing of the 2008 Parks and Recreation Master Plan that you already know is something that, even without the community input survey, that you know as a director of this entity is something that the community wants?
Yeah, I would say there's a much more push for connectivity, whether that be trails, whether that be greenways. I think that this community really wants to see that connectivity to amenities, and wants to see open spaces that are preserved, that people can go to and enjoy, recreating in whatever manner they fit in terms of relaxing and enjoying wildlife viewing. And that definitely is something that I think has been a shift from the more active participation of other types of athletic sports.
You're talking like a greenway, like in the River Arts District, the push when Mark Hunt was vice mayor to use federal funds and build that kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yes, I think that very much. We're seeing a lot of momentum for connectivity, and I think once upon a time people were looking simply to greenways, but I think people realize that multimodal transportation and connectivity, which includes parks, is vital to this community. Any other questions?
Barnersville pool open by any chance?
To my knowledge, that did open. Yes, county worked really hard with that facility to get that open, so we were excited to be able to offer that for that community. Yeah. Anything else? All right, I appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for being here. Take care.